So we are going to talk a little bit about color theory and paint a color wheel today. So what is color? How do we see different colors, and how do artists choose what colors to use in their paintings? Color matters, doesn't it? This painting would be very different if it was blue or red or green instead of this orange that we see. It would have a completely different feeling. We're going to be talking about hues, and when we paint our color wheel, we are going to be changing the hue of the color. So each individual color name is its hue. So yellow is a hue, yellow, green, green, blue, green are all hues. Now the color wheel is a tool. It's not just an activity that art teachers use to torture students. It actually serves a purpose. It shows us the relationship of colors and how they work together. So when I'm painting my color wheel, if I'm starting with yellow and I want to move to yellow, orange, orange, and red, orange, I know that starting with yellow, I add the next primary over, which is red. So I add a little bit of red to get yellow, orange, more red to get orange, and even more red to get red, orange. So what is color? Color is wavelengths of light. So each wavelength of light is a different color. Now white light contains all wavelengths of light. It's kind of the opposite of when we would mix paint. If we mix all our paints together, we get a very deep dark color. If you put all the wavelengths of light together, you get white light. So white light comes in, and if it hits a blue object, an object that we see as blue, all of the other colors are absorbed by that object. So the red and the green are absorbed, and the pigment reflects blue. So the blue light waves hit our eye, and we say blue. So why is this part white behind us? What is reflected? Why is the edge of our screen black? What is reflected there? We see white because all wavelengths of light are reflected. We see black when everything is absorbed or no wavelengths of light are reflected. So our primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. We have our secondary colors mixed by two primaries, orange, purple, and green. And in between those we have tertiary. They have names like red, orange, yellow, green. So red creates a feeling of power, energy, danger, aggression, violence, a lot of different things. Blue, peace, harmony, unity, sadness, cold, confidence, security. So artists use colors to help create meaning in their work. Yellow, joy, optimism, happiness. Danger, kind of like a warning sign. Also deceit and dishonesty. Orange, energy, balance, enthusiasm, vitality. Green, nature, renewal, but also jealousy, inexperience, envy, misfortune. Purple, nobility, spirituality, mystery, transformation, wisdom. So the first thing we need to do is get set up. You need your paint, you need a brush, palette, water, and some newspaper or fabric to have on the table. It's nice to have some tissue or an old rag nearby to dry off your paintbrush. As for a palette, I just take a plate and then I put wax paper on top of that. You could use plastic wrap, something glossy, a magazine, page from a magazine would work just fine. If you have a paper or plastic plate, that would work as well. Have a water dish and put something down just to make sure your table doesn't get stained. So the first thing we need to do is to draw, because we don't have color wheels. Well, we do have a little color wheel in our sketchbook. I suppose you could do that, but I don't like painting so small. But it does show us one way of drawing a color wheel. You can do it two different ways. The first way, I'm going to use some large circles evenly spread out for my primary colors. Then in between those, I'm going to draw some medium circles for my secondary colors. And in between those, some small circles for my tertiary colors. I'm going to connect the primaries with thick lines, connect the secondaries with thin lines. Now, the other way to do it is a more traditional color wheel. Just divide your paper into 3 sections, like a peace sign. We need 12 sections total, so we're going to divide each of these in half. And then we're going to divide each of those in half. Now you can make it into a circle if you want, or just kind of put some funky little ends on there. Then choose one section to be primary. 1, 2, 3, the fourth section, another primary. 1, 2, 3, the fourth is another primary. And then leave a space, secondary, in between each primary, and then the rest are tertiary colors. So either way works, no problem. On Google Classroom, we do have a color wheel for you. So that can help you get everything in the right place. You definitely want to have that. Now, once you've got everything set up, we can start painting. That's the good part. Alright, so you have all 3 primary colors. Now, to get them on the plate, now here's a little tip for you. One thing you can do is just take some scrap paper, and I just tear a little rectangle off. I fold that a few times, and then I have a nice little disposable scooper for my acrylic paints. Because if you use your brush to get them out, then you're constantly cleaning your brush up. There we go. And at the end, I can just kind of toss that if I want. And just take a small amount to start. You won't need a lot. So it's nice to have a rag or something around because this stuff does stain. All right. Now on to our little video. So we have our primary colors, and you can just start with 2 if you like, if you don't think you might finish your color wheel. So I'm going to start with yellow. And although this is a very basic exercise, painting a color wheel, do a nice job. Paint each section well. It's good practice. You need to gain control of this medium, acrylic paint. Now, if you're right-handed like me, to get a clean edge, load that brush with paint and just kind of drag the edge. The middle you can work quickly. The edges you slow down and be careful. So I turn my color wheel so I can do a nice smooth drag of the paint on that edge. So I've got my yellow. And I want to move towards red. So I'll take a little yellow, kind of move that to the side. Take a little red, look at that small amount of red, and then mix that in. And look what happened. Even that small amount of red, I overdid it. I passed my yellow-orange basically to an orange, which is fine. That's not a big deal. I need an orange. So I'm going to mix a nice orange instead. Small amounts of color at a time. And I'll paint that in there. I usually do a dot just to see how it looks. If I'm happy with it, we fill that in. Okay, now I need to get that yellow-orange. So I'm going to take a little yellow, and the orange in my brush will mix that into a yellow-orange, I think. Let's put a little dot on there, see how it looks next to the yellow. Maybe we need a little more red in there, so I'll grab some orange. And there we go. So now I want a red-orange, so I grab some red, and notice just a small amount, but look at how much that Just amazing. So I'm going to take some of that and move it back into that yellow-orange. Yellow is very easily corrupted, you will find. So again, add small amounts until you get the color that you're looking for. I'm going to paint that in. Now to get my next primary, I'm going to have to wash my brush out, clean it off, and just go with the pure red. That's why it's nice to have something over your table so you can kind of dry that brush off too. Paint my red. Now I'm going to move towards blue. So I will move a little red to the side. Take a small amount of blue, a very small amount of blue, and try to get my reddish purple. And then I just work my way around. So that's the color wheel. Slowly adding one primary to another. There's my purple. And there's my blue purple next. And working our way around. Okay. So put on some music and enjoy painting. Now, if you said, oh my gosh, I don't have my paints, what am I going to do? I have something for you. Take a yellow, a red, and a blue pencil. So we're not going to cheat. We are going to be mixing colors. So if I have yellow, I'm going to work my way towards blue over here. I'll start out with a little yellow. This would be a yellow-green. So I'm not going to go get a yellow-green colored pencil because I'm not really learning anything from that. I'm going to take yellow, put a nice coat on there, and then I'm going to softly, very gently, put some blue over that and see if we can get the yellow-green mixing colors with colored pencil. That's okay. I'm going a different direction here. I'll get a little more yellow on there. I'll press a little harder this time. A little more blue too. I'm not seeing that greeny look. A little bit there. I figured this would be the tougher one. Actually, it's kind of working now. Alright, we'll call that our yellow-green. I think the oranges worked a touch better. Let's see if we can get a green. Colored pencil. So with colored pencil, our eyes are going to kind of mix the color. I'm just kind of pressing harder and harder, layering it thicker and thicker. I'll be real careful. It's kind of working now. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Now it's kind of working. Green takes a little work, but that's not too bad, actually. It's not the greeniest green I've ever seen. Alright, but you can see, even with colored pencils though, we can move around, we can change the colors through layering, and we learn a little something about colored pencil technique. Alright, if you have any questions, let me know.